We have the qualifying times really just to help us with timelines, keeping the meet from being too big. It's always one of the largest meets in the country. Usually it's between us and Carmel Swim Club. The meet they host in Indianapolis, usually around the same time as us, for the largest meet in the country. I think last year was over 1,300 swimmers. It's really important, again, when we host these swim meets, like Gary's talking about, we have such a great parent volunteer base. Volunteering at these meets, helping time, which is usually the hardest position to get filled, is absolutely critical, because the amount of revenue that we make off meets like that really allows us to keep our dues lower than they would be otherwise for a program like ours. Since we expect everybody to volunteer, might as well have your kids sign up and do some racing as well. It's here in town, and I know I'm probably biased, but I think it's the best pool in the Midwest in terms of competition courses. We'll be going to a meet mid-November in Kansas City and Platte City, hosted by Tsunami Swim Team, Fall Roundup. And that will be our last meet before Indy. So Indy is a big meet at IUPUI, which is one of the best pools in the country. They used to host Olympic trials there for a long time. There are qualifying times for that meet. They're typically right around A times for the age group. Some are a little bit faster than A times, some are a little bit slower. And I just got the meet information on that, so I'll be getting that posted soon. We'll keep an updated list of who is qualified for that meet as we go through the season, through the first part of the season. We will probably have to ask for signups for that right around when Jim Devine is, so we can hold our spot in the meet. But we will be able to get additional kids into the meet that qualify at Jim Devine and at the Fall Roundup. But we always have to get a file in so the host team has an idea of how many swimmers are coming, so they can keep the meet size manageable. The next meet after that is Winter Juniors. Sorry, questions?
Is Indy going to be a travel meet?
Indy is not going to be team travel. So I would recommend going, and I was looking at hotels today. There's still quite a few hotels available. If you want to stay super close, you're going to have to shell out a good chunk of money, but there's a lot of hotels within 15 to 20 minutes drive that are easy drive on the highway that are in the $100 to $130 a night range when I was looking today. It is the same weekend as the Big Ten football championship. It always is. So I would recommend go ahead and getting some rooms for that. Like I said, I have the meet information, so we will see what the qualifying times are. Don't assume because your kid isn't close to the qualifying times now that they won't get them. Okay, I've always seen a lot of kids make huge leaps early season, especially since they haven't swum short course since last short course season. But I would recommend getting on rooms fairly soon, because they will start to dry up and you might have to stay a little bit further away if you wait until a couple weeks out from the meet. Was that your question also? Okay. The next meet is Winter Juniors. I can't remember where those are this year. Texas, Austin, Texas. So this is this along with Winter Nationals is the big meet of the short course season for USA Swimming. The times to qualify are very, very fast. Right now our only swimmers qualified are in the national group, but there are other swimmers that could potentially get to that level. This is one of the goal meets for kids to qualify for, again, like Gary's talking about, increasing our presence at the national level. The weekend of Martin Luther King Jr., the weekend prior to Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we're going to do a senior travel meet. We haven't decided for sure what meet we're going to yet. We're looking at the options. One thing we always look for at a meet like this is what are the qualifications to enter, because we'd like to involve Senior 1 in that. We tried to go to one last year. Unfortunately, the weather did not cooperate with us, and we had to make the decision as we were sitting on the bus. We were looking at it, and we had to pull the plug on it. But we're going to be looking for something again that weekend that we can take the kids to on a charter bus and have a good experience, kind of like when we took the kids to Wichita this last summer. I strongly encourage you to have your swimmers go, even if they've never done a team travel meet before. It's a great chance for them to be able to get to know their teammates better. The environment's usually really good because the kids are all sitting together at the swim meet cheering for each other. It's also an opportunity to learn how to manage themselves when the parents aren't there to take care of them and hold their hands through every step of the process of making sure they're getting behind the blocks and bringing snacks with them and all that stuff. It's a great chance to learn those things at a meet where the consequences if they make a mistake in terms of preparing for a race aren't completely dire. We're not at a big championship meet. This is a great opportunity to learn. Then the last meet we'll have before our championship meets is Tiger Invite in late January. This year the format is going to change slightly. Friday will be the same. Saturday we're going to go prelims finals, so we can get an opportunity to race prelims finals one last time before championships, and then Sunday will be time finals. We are adding in Sunday for Tiger Invite this year. Our 3 big championship meets go districts, then LSC champs, then sectionals. Districts, I believe, are in Platte City again this year. That's usually where they are. That is the lower level of the championship meets. There are qualifying times for that. And then at this meet, they can qualify for champs. Anyone at districts who places first or second automatically qualifies for champs, whether they make a champs cut or not. And then champs is going to be in Wichita again this year. Those times have not been published yet. They're likely to get slightly faster from last year. What we used to do in the past, we would wait for that meet to get way too big before we updated the qualifying times. Now Missouri Valley is updating the times every year. We'll have those final times after the Missouri Valley meeting, which is a week from this Saturday. And so I'll post those once those are final. Then we're hosting sectionals again this spring. The sectional qualifying times did get faster in some cases. They got as much as half a second to a second faster because the meet was getting rather big again. I'll be posting those on our website here soon. I've been waiting to get a cleaner version of what was, right now I have what was proposed, which has a bunch of notes on it. I'm hoping to get a cleaner version from Region 8 that I can post up there. And this has typically been the big meet we focused on in the spring. What we're doing this year is we've added a new meet, which I forgot to put on this. It's the last week of March, during our spring break here down in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's the ISCA TYR Junior Cup. The qualifying times are very similar to the NCSA times. Some cases they're slightly slower. The meet is pretty well attended. The top end is very, very fast, but the times to make finals aren't completely out of this world. We had looked at the NCSA meet in the spring, but that meet is huge. It's not really, the last time I went, it wasn't a great experience just because some cases it was a 0.2 of a second difference between kids making B finals and kids not making finals at all. This meet will have a little more field to what the summer NCSA meet was. It'll be about that same size. For finals, they split it into 16 and under and 17 and over. So there's 2 different sets of finals for that meet. We wanted to add a meet to take our kids beyond just their regional level. A lot of times the kids, we've noticed, get stuck at, I made sectionals, I made it, I'm good. We wanted to give another step in the progression for them towards reaching the national levels in the sport, racing a bigger set of swimmers, because ultimately the kids they're competing against for scholarships aren't just in Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. They're all over the whole country. So getting them to look beyond just the regional level and towards the national level is the goal of adding that meet to this schedule.
It's also, the prelim finals are short course in the morning, long course for the finals. That way, the Olympic trial cuts are supposed to come out at the end of this month. It'll be one of the first times it'll be available to try to make Olympic trial time. So,
Are there any questions about the meet schedule?
it is outside. It is an outdoor meet.
The dual meet that is on a Sunday.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
That dual meet's on a Sunday.
Yes.
I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay.
I think just, as a suggestion, if it's helpful, to the parents, if you could, as soon as you have the schedule, even if it's tentative, if you could send it to the parents, like as well with, the location, and I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, I've had it posted on the website for a few weeks, but I didn't send it out, which I probably,
It's just kind of would be
could have, yeah.
helpful. Then what we can make, our travel arrangements,
Yeah.
if we need to take off from work and that sort of thing. That would be very helpful.
That last meet that we just talked about, they didn't come out with the dates until a week ago. So as soon as I found out that it was spring break week, I went, oh, let's do that. So, that was not, they did not post the dates until recently.
Is there not another meet somewhere that's not on spring break?
No. The other one is NCSA's, which we would finish sectionals on Sunday and we would swim on Tuesday. And that would mean asking our kids to go Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, compete, plus miss school, get on a plane Monday morning, and go down. So this was a better option as to missing school.
And are we talking about this now, or are we gonna save that for later? For question answer kind of thing, or?
No, you can ask.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like, we're not going, because we've already made, reservations.
I
and other
understand,
plans.
and I'm sure that there'll be other people also.
Okay.
But there will be people that want to go to, they want to be able to compete at that level.
Yeah.
And why should we not allow them to do that when the opportunity's there?
But again, as long as it's not something that's held against, particular swimmers, because we've already had a discussion about that.
Yeah, we figured with the dates just coming out a week ago, we figured a lot of people have already maybe made plans they can't change, but
Right.
we wanted to provide the opportunity to those that are able to go, so.
Right.
Okay, if there are any other, sorry.
Is the dual meet, is that age group 2 or just senior?
That is the whole team.
Everybody, okay.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, the dual meet will be all of the groups in the team, and they're gonna bring all of, from their littles up to their bigs, so. We think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it will be. All right, so the next thing we're gonna talk about, we've kind of changed the meet sign-up procedure this year. One of the emphasis, like Gary was talking about, was the increasing meet participation. This is across the whole team, including the age group side. And so over the years, I've talked to other coaches, and Gary's talked to other coaches, and Sarah has, about ways to improve this. And what a lot of teams do is they have, instead of people signing up for meets, they have them opt out of meets. So what we're gonna do is now, swimmers for the meets that are the recommended meets for their group will be automatically signed up, and you'll need to go in and sign them out of the meet. So I'm going to show the procedure for it. It's basically the same, but I wanted to go through it again. For qualifying meets, we will only automatically sign swimmers up that are qualified for the meet. Okay, so we will not sign up a swimmer who is not qualified for the meet for those championship meets with qualifying times. So to sign up, to go into the meet, to choose events, or to opt out of the meet, you go to the same page. It probably looks a little bit different because I'm a super user. I can edit stuff. For you, I think it says attend this meet. For me, it says edit as a commitment, but it'll be the red button next to the name of the swim meet. You'll click on that. If you can go to the next slide. You'll go to a page where it'll look similar to this. You'll have your swimmer's name here. Now it'll show them as automatically being committed. You'll click on the swimmer's name. If you choose that they don't want to go to the meet, it'll take you to this page, and the drop-down box, you'll just hit that and you'll select no thanks, swimmer will not attend this event. And if you can go to the next page, you'll need to hit the save changes at the bottom of the screen. Otherwise it won't save that. You will still be able to choose events, or the swimmer. With the older kids, we recommend that the swimmer choose the events they want to swim. I'll talk to them a lot of times at practice about events. If there's an event that I want them to swim that I think they could be very good at, I'll make that recommendation. But we usually like to have the swimmers have that choice, so they take a little bit more ownership over their swimming. So if they want to go in and choose events, you'll be able to go in and select the events they want to swim. Same thing, you'll hit save changes, and that will finish the process.
If you don't do anything and they're entered and you didn't opt out and you don't go in and select the events, the coach will go in and select the events for you.
Yeah.
So if you don't opt out, you're going to be entered, and guess what happens when you get entered? You get charged.
Somebody said that you swim the mile. I thought I heard that.
So remember, and we'll send it out every time that we talk about a meet. If you're not going to attend this meet, you need to opt out.
And
so now the onus is on you, not us to say, Kyle's not signed up for the meet, is he going to swim? Because not only does this help get more people involved in competing, you'd be surprised how many people call or email, can you enter my kid after we've sent in the entries already?
Yeah, there's a lot of times that we're unable to get kids into meets after we send entries out. to the host team. Most meets anymore fill up. They have an open date like our meet, and they fill up very, very quickly. So this is one way to help avoid that. And as far as what I do on the lead end, as soon as I open up a meet, so as soon as I drop in the events file and we go in, we sign kids up, I'll be sending out an email saying, here's the deadline to opt out. I always put a link, I'll put a link in there that you can click that'll take you straight to the page where you can choose to opt out of the meet. I'll send a reminder a week out of the deadline, and I'll send a reminder the day before the deadline as well. So hopefully that will be enough time for people. Usually I get to open it. Most teams are good about getting their information out and the meet file out enough that I can open it up about a month ahead of time. Some teams are not good about that, even though there are fines in Missouri Valley for not getting stuff on time. What's that?
Like Missouri Valley Champs?
Yeah, like Missouri Valley Champs, yes. So I think the shortest turnaround we've had before has been about a week. But most meets are good about getting that ahead of time, so you have plenty of time to go in and take care of it. So, are there any questions about this?
So when you go in and open up the meet to do this, we'll get an email that we can go ahead, it's open to.
It's open to go in and choose events or to opt out of the meet. So there's a few meets that I'll actually be adding in tomorrow, and then I'll be sending out the email tomorrow on that I've got the events file for.
So will your swimmer be selected for all meets, for example, districts, champs?
So
sectionals?
that's a really good question. So
Right.
I'll use Achievers Junior as an example. The kids in that group typically don't go to districts. I'm not going to put a kid in a district meet if they have a full slate of events for champs. That's something that I will discuss with the swimmer and their parents ahead of time. There have been occasions where kids in Achievers Junior, formerly Senior 2, have gone to districts for one day to swim an event, trying to pick up an additional event for champs. That's something that I'll handle on a case-by-case basis. Or for Achiever Senior, which is formerly Senior 3, a lot of those kids didn't go to champs because they had their full schedule events for sectionals. Again, I wouldn't automatically sign them up for champs. Gary's not going to be signing up Oakley for districts automatically, because that's not a meet that's on the list for that group. So yes, that's a great question. Thank you.
Will those entry times already be in there?
Yeah, so for your daughter, I'll probably have to manually add them into our system.
Okay.
So when I open events tomorrow, her times probably won't show in there because her old